The Galactic Council chamber had witnessed 10,000 years of negotiations, but never anything like this. Ambassador Qinming stood at the podium designated for petitioning species, her modest height dwarfed by the towering architecture designed to intimidate lesser civilizations into compliance. The terms are unchanged, Supreme Counselor ZYX Theta announced from his elevated platform, his crystalline form refracting light in patterns meant to convey absolute authority. Humanity will surrender 60% of its resources, provide mandatory military service of 40% of adults, and accept administered governance. In return, you receive protection and the privilege of associate membership. The gathered representatives of 500 worlds watched in silence. This was the way. New species submitted or faced isolation and eventual extinction in the harsh galaxy. The Vornaki had submitted. The Calirians had submitted. Even the proud Draconian Empire had eventually bent. Qinming gathered her papers slowly, methodically. The sound echoed in the vast chamber. "I see," she said, her voice carrying despite its softness. "Then we have nothing more to discuss." She turned to leave. "Ambassador," ZYX Theta's harmonic voice spiked. "You haven't given your answer." Qinming paused, turned back with a slight smile. "Yes, I have." "You refuse?" The concept was so foreign that the universal translator struggled. "You would condemn your species to isolation? No trade routes, no protection, no access to galactic technology. We've been alone for 2 million years of evolution," Qinming replied. "We'll manage." Sub-Chancellor Krextar of the Vornaki stood, his 6 arms gesturing frantically. "You don't understand. Without the Council's protection, raiders will descend upon you. Your colonies will burn." "Perhaps," Qinming acknowledged. "We've burned before. We rebuilt." "Your technology is primitive," another representative shouted. "You've barely achieved faster than light travel. We went from horse-drawn carriages to landing on our moon in 70 years, Qinming said. "From splitting the atom to harnessing fusion in less than a century. We learned to fly by watching birds, reach the ocean floor in metal tubes, and perform surgery on ourselves before we had anesthesia. We'll figure it out." Supreme Counselor ZYX Theta's form darkened. "You would sacrifice your entire species for pride?" "Not pride," Qinming corrected. "Principle. Our children ask us why before they can properly walk. Our teenagers challenge authority as a rite of passage. Our artists starve rather than compromise their vision. Our scientists die testing their own theories on themselves. We are not built for submission." She pulled up a hologram from her tablet. "This is Leonidas at Thermopylae. 300 against 1,000,000. They lost. We still tell their story." "This is Tank. Man in Tiananmen Square. 1 human against a column of tanks. He had groceries in his hands. This is Harriet Tubman, who walked back into slavery 19 times to free others. This is Marie Curie, poisoning herself with radiation to advance science." The images flickered past, humans standing when they should kneel, fighting when they should flee, refusing when they should accept. "You're showing us your failures," Counselor ZYX Theta said. "I'm showing you who we are," Qinming replied. "We are the species that looked at birds and said we should fly. We looked at fish and said we should swim deeper. We looked at the stars and said we should go there. Not because we could, but because we couldn't. Yet." She moved toward the door. "Keep your protection. Keep your technology. Keep your administered governance. We'll make our own way. The galaxy is dangerous." ZYX Theta called after her. "You will fail." Qinming stopped at the threshold. In 1970, Apollo 13 suffered catastrophic failure in space. The crew should have died. Instead, Ground control figured out how to fit a square filter into a round hole using only materials on board: plastic bags, cardboard, and tape. They lived. She looked back at the assembled council. We don't need your protection. We have duct tape and stubbornness. That's always been enough. As the door closed behind her, Sub-Chancellor Krextar whispered, Should we warn them about the Void Hunters in their sector? Why? Another replied. They'll either die or do something impossible. Either way, they won't submit. 3 years later, when humanity's ragtag fleet defeated the Void Hunters using retrofitted mining ships and something they called aggressive negotiations, the Galactic Council pretended not to be surprised. They were very surprised.